Hi there guys, and welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. I'm the host of the Cryptoverse and the founder of cryptoversity.com. My name is Chris-Coney. Cryptoversity.com is the online school where you set the price to learn about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. You can find out more about Cryptoversity at cryptoversity.com. Let's have a look at the overall market cap today of the Cryptoverse. And of course, the big story for me still is Steam. Steam is still, still in that elevator, is still on the way to the top floor, and it's been able to reach the third most capitalized coin in a matter of days. This is the highest I've ever seen it. A Steam token is now worth $4.08, and that puts the Steam blockchain at an overall market cap of $338 million. That's almost 30% more than Ripple. It's twice as much, it's almost twice as much as Litecoin, and it is more than double what the DAO is worth. And it's coming up to just over a third of what the Ethereum blockchain is worth, which is incredible given that Bitcoin is the oldest cryptocurrency. It's like 7 years old. Ethereum's had a good couple of years out of the gate, and Steam has been out of the gate 3 months, right? April, May, June. And it didn't formally launch until the 4th of July when it began its first payout. And that was the thing that really got people's attention. What? You mean a social network that actually pays you to use it? Well, how incredible. But that is in fact what it does. And that is why it's so popular. In addition to that, very cleverly, Steam incentivizes people to keep their Steam tokens inside the network, because that increases your voting power on the network, right? And I do that because it incentivizes me to be able to promote my own posts and promote other people's posts. But of course, if I sell my Steam, then I lose voting power. And the effect of that is that the traders have obviously got less Steam to trade, and because the supply is more scarce, that's what's pushing the price up. So the demand is way outstripping the supply. It's very interesting. So Steam is up another 64% in the last 24 hours, and let's see if this continues, because it's gonna approach and overtake Ethereum at this rate. And even funnier than that, Steam has the ability to be a payment network. So it may, don't quote me on this, it may also be able to challenge Bitcoin, because it does what Bitcoin does in terms of being a payment network, but it's also more, quote, useful in the sense that it's also a social network. So when I say payment network, Steam has the Steam-backed dollars. So you got a stable currency in US dollars that are backed by Steam tokens as a derivative. So let's keep an eye on that, because it's something up with this. I mean, not up bad, I mean something special about this. So let's keep our eye on it and see if it can continue climbing the elevator. All right, moving on to I'm getting a Skype call there, sorry about that. Let's look at the candlestick chart for Bitcoin on bitcoinwisdom.com. I'm looking at the Bitstamp price. Pretty calm in the Bitcoin space. What does Coinmarketcap say? It says Coinmarketcap lost 1.8% of its value in the last 24 hours. And we're still in this range that I've plotted between the top of the range is $657. 657, yeah, 657 at the top and 640 at the bottom. So that's a little channel that I can see that Bitcoin is bouncing up and down inside of. So that's a consolidation, as we call it in trading. So let's keep an eye on that. Just not going to dwell too much on the price charts. Moving on to the news courtesy of bitcoin.com. The most popular article this is from yesterday, but it's been read quite a few times, 8,000 times, which is why I've chosen to read it to you guys. And the article is Japan becoming the new Bitcoin trading superpower? And then here we go. A surprising Bitcoin exchange ranking chart published by Coinmarketcap shows Japanese exchange bitFlyer trading at number 1 over the last 24 hours with over $26 million traded in Bitcoin against the Japanese yen. Japanese trading soars. Some questioned whether it was accurate, given that Bitcoin against CNY trading usually dwarfs even that of Bitcoin and US dollars. In the past, the Japanese yen trading often barely registered on the Bitcoin volume charts. Yes. So what you're saying there, some people question whether the Japanese figures were accurate, given that the Chinese currency against Bitcoin usually has so much volume, it dwarfs even the US dollar against Bitcoin, right? So then we've got inset into the article is 24-hour volume ranking charts by exchange, and then bitFlyer is listed as number 1 with $26.9 million worth of trading volume in a 24-hour period. And then it says bitFlyer CFO, which is Chief Financial Officer, Midori Kanemitsu, said the volumes listed were indeed real, but that zero-fee campaigns and competition between big exchanges in Japan were probably boosting the amount of trading taking place. Now that's interesting. Zero-fee campaigns. That's a way to get traders' attention, because trading fees eats into their profit, right? So Kanemitsu said, quote, the Bitcoin market is so extremely competitive that almost all the exchanges charge no fees, and the competition is going into negative fees. There have also been good inflows from the recent volatility, including Brexit, where the Japanese yen was bought and BTC outperformed the Japanese yen. Close quote. So elections, economies, and instability. In any case, recent political and economic events in Japan make it entirely plausible that Bitcoin trading would rise in general. One factor driving Japanese trading activity could be last week's elections for the upper house of national parliament, which the incumbent government won in a landslide and gained a 2/3 supermajority. The government, led by Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, campaigned on furthering its economic reform agenda. Popularly called Abenomics, these reforms were supposed to consist of radical quantitative easing and stimulus, tax increases, and workplace reforms. Despite the government's popularity, Abenomics has recently been regarded by economic and financial experts as underwhelming or even unsuccessful, as Japan's economy continues to resist jump-starting. Exports to major markets like the USA and China have fallen over 10% in the last year, while inflation has returned to negative figures and GDP growth is currently 0.5% and projected to fall even further. Increases in Bitcoin trading volume do not mean that ordinary people are suddenly rushing into the digital currency and trading it, but they could signal an increase in awareness among Japan's large number of finance industry professionals. Traders, of course, love volatility more than economic theory, so any uncertainty could lead to a flurry of market activity. Other possible reasons. On a separate political note, a supermajority in the upper house allows the government to begin a process to rewrite Japan's constitution. The government has pledged to remove clauses specifically banning Japanese military action outside of Japan, something bound to cause further tension in an already edgy situation with China over disputed territories. Yikes. Why would they do that? So that says that the current Japanese constitution bans the Japanese military from taking action outside Japan. Oh, how interesting. That to me sounds like a legacy from World War II or something. And kind of like the German military was, they kind of completely dissolved their military after World War II. That is a bit suspicious, given that it says here that there's an edgy situation between Japan and China over disputed territories. Letting the military loose is that's not a good thing. Anyway, increasing Japanese volume could also simply be the effect of a national obsession with forex trading and a more permissive regulatory approach to digital currencies that businesses have seen in the recent months. CEO of major exchange Coiney, it's Q-U-O-I-N-E. Coin, is that coin? Kind of spelt funny. So the CEO of major exchange Coin, I'll call it, Mike Kayamori, said last month that he expected Japanese trading volumes to soon outstrip that of Chinese exchanges. He added that Japanese investment culture also angled more towards currency trading than shares or funds, something he attributed to an unusual interest in money itself. Kayamori explained that Japanese volumes had increased remarkably in recent months, probably thanks to a greater acceptance of digital currency among foreign exchange speculators. Japan and the Japanese yen may not be regular number one fixtures on the Bitcoin exchange list just yet, but both are well worth keeping a close watch on. What's causing so much Bitcoin trading activity in Japan? Is Asia in general the center of the Bitcoin world? And that's the end of the article. And then in the comment section, we have a few comments. Someone says, okay, that explains the sudden spike in orders from there. Someone else says, sure wish there was somewhere here on the ground to spend it. Near useless as a currency at the moment. Hopefully that will change. Taiwan is awash in places to spend Bitcoin, but Japan has close to none. And then the third comment says, maybe Shinzo Abe is a closet Bitcoin fan, and Abenomics is part of a grand plan to get everyone off fiat currency forever. Ah well, we live in hope. It's a good insight. Yes, given Japan's economic situation over the last several decades, I remember reading a book actually by, it's not Richard Dawkins, he's the scientist guy. It was an economist guy, and I saw him speak at a Robert Kiyosaki event, which was the National Achievers Congress. I've got the book in my book collection, I just don't have it to hand. It's called The Corruption of Capitalism, and it's got a yellow cover on it, and it gave a big old analysis of the whole global economy and all the mess that it's in. The most fascinating bit was the conclusion, where he goes on to say, look, the only way the world is going to recover is if the United States returns to being the economic powerhouse of the world. And then he makes 3 suggestions as to how that might happen. He's basically saying, yes, all this money that the United States has been printing, is the way they are spending it that's either going to make or break it. So he's suggesting that all the trillions of US dollars that have been printed, they should go into new innovations that the United States can then export. So things like nanotechnology, advanced medicine, and so on and so forth. And he lists them all in the book. So that would be, if you think about countries as like businesses, then every country has to compete, to sell goods, i.e. export them, and then it has to buy goods in, i.e. import them. And when they say a trade deficit, that means that you're buying more than you're spending. And then when they say a trade surplus, it means you're selling more than you're buying, right? So a deficit is a loss, and a surplus is a profit from a country's point of view. So he's, I'm not sure if he was advocating. Yeah, I think he was advocating for a trade surplus for the United States, so they would be selling more goods to the rest of the world than they were buying. And the whole ring around that philosophy was that if America is booming, the world will be booming. I don't know if I agree with that strategy per se. The only reason I mention that is back to Japan. Given Japan has been in a depression for like decades, they're going to need some kind of innovation to export, right? They're going to need to get more money into the country rather than just printing it, which is what they're doing and what they have been doing for a long, long time. So if they decided to become a crypto country, a leading crypto country, they could have innovations and all kinds of businesses that could then export those services, bring in money into the country, and turn Japan back into a prosperous economy. But it's not as simple as that, because there are so many people involved. There's so many conflicting agendas and power structures and this and that and the others, So that's, while the principle holds, it's not as simple as just putting it into action. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Cryptoverse with me, Chris Coney. If you would like to subscribe to the Cryptoverse, you can do that in a number of ways. You can go on to cryptoversity.com/podcast, and then you can check out it on iTunes. You can check it out on Stitcher. You can check it out on the Google Play Store, and you can also check it out on YouTube if you prefer to subscribe to it on YouTube, and also check it out on steemit.com. It's under my personal username, which is @marketingmonk, and then you can actually follow me on Steemit. That's a feature that's now active. Excuse me. And then I'll publish all of the Cryptoverse episodes on there. And that's another way of supporting the show that doesn't cost you any money. On that page, cryptoversity.com/podcast, you can use the QR code or the Bitcoin address there to send a contribution to the Cryptoverse, or you can just upvote this episode of the Cryptoverse on steemit.com, and that will support the show without it costing you anything. So maybe you'd want to do that. Remember to check out the main site, cryptoversity.com, which is the online school where you set the price to learn about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains. And you can find out more at cryptoversity.com. All right, that's going to do it for today, guys. So I will see you next time. Until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.